The girl is back, but they have problems. She said she might come.
All right.
I
didn't clean the mic.
Help if I switch this on.
Clean the mic, girl.
All right, welcome all once again to our regular Sunday service in the busiest spiritual season for the Hindus. The springtime always is busy. We have a whole bunch of stuff happening. But today, no special thing, but regular service. We want to welcome everybody to participate with us, those who are here and those who are watching us online as well. Welcome. Let us begin with the opening prayer. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatam Om Arakshe Varane Devi Akshare Brahmavadi Gayatri Jagat Mata Vishwayogi Namaste Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturbharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimani Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturbharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimani Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsaviturbharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimani Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Trayambakam Yajamhe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvaarikum Bhargaam Mrityurmukshamamritam Om Prithvipayadhrikaloka Devikam Vishnunadhrika Manchaharyamandegi Partham Guru Chasanam Om Shri Prithvi Mata Vyonama Namani Om Apavitra Pavitra Sarvashtam Datopva Yashmare Pundarikaksham Sadayam Vedram Suji Hasprachanam Samarpyami Govindai Namah. Right now on the drops and on the spot. Om Amritopasthanamasi Swaha Om Amritapidhanamasi Swaha Om Satyam Yasha Shrimai Shri Shrayatam Swaha Spachanam Govindai Namo Namah Kushmule Sito Brahma Kushmadye Janardana Kusagre Sankram Devam Kusharam Karomayam Om Nabadhu Pariraja Dhanendro Mahabala Premvam Pratibadnami Raksha Machala Machala. Water in the left hand. We perform the hands first, if you indicate the rights. Touch the water in the lips. Om Vanganasyastu, water again nose. Om Nasurme Pranastu, eyes. Om Aksharo Chakshurastu, ears. Om Karnyo Shlokamastu, arms. Om Bahurme Balmastu, thighs. Om Rudhurme Ujjavastu, elbow. Om Rishtani Angani. Namaskavami Sahasantu. Alright, Swasti Vacham, we invite everybody to participate in the benediction mantras. Om Hari Om Swasti Indro Vidasnava Swasti Nahusha Vishnuvena Swasti Nastacho Rishtani स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ पय पृथिव्यां पयोषधिषु पयोनियन्तरिक्षे पयोधा पयस्वति परेशासन्तोम्यहम् ॐ विष्णुरात्मसि विष्णुशकृष्टु विष्णु शिवसि विष्णु भुवसि विष्णुमसि विष्णुवेतवा ॐ अग्निर्देवता वायुदेवता सूर्यदेवता चन्द्रमादेवता वसुदेवता रुद्रदेवता आदित्यदेवता मरुतदेवता विश्वदेवता बृहस्पतिदेवता इन्द्रदेवता वरुणदेवता ॐ द्यौ शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिर् आकाशान्तिर् औषधय शान्तिर् वनस्पति शान्तिर् विश्वदेवा शान्तिर् ब्रह्मा शान्तिर् सर्वं शान्तिर् शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि ॐ विश्वानि देवा सवितर्वृतानिकास्व यद्भद्रं तनास्व ॐ शुक्लं वरणं देवं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्ते ॐ शान्ति 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 भवन्तु। प्रेम से बोलिए शिव शंकर भगवान की जय। शरणं प्रभु consecrate already. ओम भूरसि भूमिरसि दितिरसि विस्वधाय विश्वस्य भुवनस्य धात्री पृथ्वी अच्छा पृथ्वी त्रिगुणा पृथ्वी मही भूम सह। प्रेम से बोलिए पृथ्वी माता की जय। शरणं प्रभु। And become the flowers over there so we can stretch it. The flowers in the hand now, we meditate on Bhagavan in the form of Ganesha, Ganesha Vigneshwar. Remover of obstacles, giver of success, storehouse of wisdom. We ask Bhagavan, may He bless us with knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, to recognize our challenges and the ability to be able to overcome them as well. Put this on Om Gajananam Om समस्त विघ्नोर्भयाशरक्षा मंगल पूजा प्रथम करामि पूजा भगवान नमस्ते। ओम सर्वमंगलमंगले शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमस्ते। श्री गणेशाय नमः नमामि। श्री गौरी मातरं नमामि। द्रव्यं सुशोभनं दिव्यं सर्वसौख्यकरं शुभं आसनं च मया रक्तं ग्रहाणं परमेश्वर।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश देवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता जाति पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश देवा। भगवत को मोदन की संत करी सेवा। संत करी सेवा। भगवत को मोदन की संत
Let's clasp hands now. We glorify Bhagavan as Ganesha. Om Jai Ganapati Sadguna Sadam Avivar Bhajan Kripa Vinaram Mangalaparam Jai Jai Hare Jaya Om Raksha Ganeshwari Devi Sasana Parmeshwari Aham Puja Karishyami Om Sada Sanmukho Bhava Prem se Gauri Ganesha Bhagwan Lakshmi Jai Sharanam Prabhu. Once again with flowers in the hands, we meditate upon and offer salutations to Mahalakshmi, Lakshmi, the dispenser of prosperity, of wealth, of health, of beauty, of fortune. Most importantly, in Hindu philosophy, light is a symbol of wisdom as opposed to darkness, which is a symbol of ignorance. Today we ask for Devi, in a like manner the light dispels the darkness of night, so may the darkness of our ignorance be replaced by the light of spiritual wisdom. To this Mahalakshmi we join in humble salutations. Ramyam Shobhanam Divyam सर्व सौख्याकरं शुभम
स्वर की देवी सरस्वती माँ स्वर का ज्ञान सिखावे माँ हृदय से हृदय में स्वर का दीप जलावे माँ स्वर का दीप जलावे माँ स्वर की देवी सरस्वती माँ स्वर का ज्ञान सिखावे
The class runs long, led by the Divine Mother as Mahalakshmi. Om Mata Lakshmi Kari Kripa Kari Hridayas Manokamana Siddhi Kari Purvame Kari Dukharani Harodevi Savatas Jayati Jayati Jayakshmi Kari Shakrunakash Mahalakshmi Namastuvyam, Namastuvyam Sureshwari, Haripriye Namastuvyam, Namastuvyam Dayaniye. Om Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu, Lakshmi Rupena Samskrita, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namaha, Namastasya, Namastasya, Namastasya Namo Namaha. प्रेम से उसी महालक्ष्मी माता की जय शरण प्रभु. Now we offer our salutations to Sri Navgraha Devata, Navgraha symbolizing the planets in our solar system. We as Hindus, we accept our lives are influenced by the energy from these planets and based upon the time and place of birth as well as our own actions. That energy can be of a positive or negative nature. Whatever negativity there may be, today we ask Lord Bhagavan, by your grace, by your blessings, may we be blessed with the ability to recognize these obstacles, planetary obstacles, and to be able to overcome them through our own intelligence, through inspiration from within, and through the karma that we perform. For those of our members who are ill, who are suffering in some way or the other from the negative effects of the ground, we ask Bhagavan to bless these individuals, to make them well, to make them whole, that they may once more be able to contribute to their homes as well as to their families. And especially today we pray for Srimati Janaki Samaru, Srimati Anjani Ramphal, Srimati Harde Ramprasad, Sriman Roy Sankar, Srimati Yolanda Bowen. These are long-term people, obviously. Srimati Mary Mandal, Srimati Vidya Ramkisur. How's Vidya feeling?
She's feeling that can come out.
That can come out, okay. Vidya is gone. She's improved. That's good. We like that. We like that to happen to everybody here, actually. Srimati Sita Srinath and Sriman Munesar Buddhan, I think he might be coming off too. Yes?
Yes, someone good.
Yeah.
Is
Every time I take the man's name off, he come back on for some reason.
I hope not this time.
I hope not too. All right, we wish him all the best. And Sriman Shakbir Sultan, I think he must be doing well too.
Yeah, I think he is.
We'll inquire to see this today or tomorrow and see if we can take his name off too. I like when the names come off, not when they come on. So we pray for universal welfare for all of humankind, and not forgetting my cousin in England, Rafiq Chowdhury and Armati Chowdhury, and their kids as well. You keep reminding me every time we talk, don't forget to pray for me. So I'm making it official. Rafiq, I hope you're looking. If you are, you know I don't forget you. All right. With class ones, we pray for peace in the heavenly regions, peace in the atmosphere, peace upon the earth as it affects our own lives. Om Brahma Murari Sripurana Chakari Vanu Shashi Bhumi Sipurudhasta Dusta Sukha Shri Radhi Sarveva Shantika Bhavantu Sarveva Shantika Bhavantu. Prem se Navgraha Devata Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu. I just want to remind everyone, of course, those who are here and those who might be joining us online as well. If you'd like to perform puja at any time, sit where Davina and Ramam are sitting today enchanted and perform it with your own hands. Please call us in advance, let us know so we can put aside that time for you. I know some of you don't want to come because of the COVID and so on, and we're still going through a tough time, but the government has lifted every restriction. Yesterday, Canada's Wonderland opened fully, and everybody associating with each other. So I'm thinking we've gone from pandemic stage to endemic stage now. So we don't need to panic. We're looking at the end. We hope so anyway. Let's hope there's not another wave that comes on and then things go back into reverse stage again. We hope so anyway. And we're praying for that to happen. But in the meantime, if you would like to, you want to celebrate a birthday or an anniversary or anything else for that matter, please call in advance, book your time so that time is reserved for you, that slot is reserved for you. We're not asking you to bring anything. I'm sure you want to bring your prasadam and so on. The temple provides all the things you need for the puja. If you want to bring your own, by all means, we're not going to stop you. But if you want to come and participate, please do so. We welcome everyone. This temple, of course, belongs to the community, not to me, not to anyone else. I'm just a servant here, serving everyone else. I want you to remember that. So don't feel afraid to talk to me. I think people, especially when I call home and so on, they want to talk to the pandit's wife. They don't want to talk to the pandit. I don't have horns. I don't go around snorting and hitting anybody, okay? So please, I'm readily accessible. Talk to me and we can have things going in order. I know sometimes 2 or 3 people might want the same day. That's why first come, first serve. So if you understand that, we're good. Right? Are we okay with that? Yeah. Good. Alright, we meditate now on Mahavishnu, the all-pervasive Bhagavan who becomes manifest from time to time and age to age for the benefit of humankind, by whose grace and blessings the dumb speaks, the lame walks, the blind sees, the impossible becomes possible. Today we are asking of Bhagavan, in the same way we become manifest in the world for the benefit of mankind, please manifest yourself within my heart. Be the guide of my intellect, guiding me on the path that leads to the highest welfare, the path of truth, of dharma, of righteousness, of religion, the path which brings peace within and without. We want to be in harmony with those around us, with the world at large. We want to be in harmony within ourselves as well. Because when things don't work within well, they don't work without well as well. It all starts from in here. Be the change that you would like to see in the world. Don't expect everybody else to change first. This is why people keep telling me, you won't change, my wife especially. Why don't you change your ways? Well, please change your way to accommodate me, you know. All right, with clasped hands, we join in our invocation. Om Sashankachakram Sakirinakundalam Safitavastram Sarasnevaksharam Saharabhakshaskalakaustumasmiyam Namami Vishnu Shirasachaturabhujam Om Karoti Vacham Pangum Bandhate Yatatrapatamam Vande Paramanandamadram Om Ilam Bhujashamalakomanam Sita Samarapitavamabhagam Paramahasarikacharuchapam Namiranam Raghuvanshanatham Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Patale Om Nilavarnam Pitavastram Srivatsakadabhushiram Govindam Bhakuranandam Brahmaderapi Purujitam Sri Mahavishnu Bhagwanabhyo Namami Om Ramyam Sashobhanam Divyam Sarvasaukhyankaram Shubham Asanam cha maya rabdam grahana parameshvara iti asanam Sri Mahavishnu Bhagwan Bhyo Namami
प्रेम की अगन हो
प्रेम के लगन हो भक्ति सघन हो मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु में लगाए प्रभु में लगाए प्रभु में लगाए प्रभु में लगाए लगन हो भक्ति सघन हो मन में लगन हो तो प्रभु में लगाए प्रभु में लगाए Alright, that's good. Let's get Pete to sing the Krishna stotram there to find the one Krishna. Are you sure? If you want
That's
to.
the issue you're answering.
Okay, go ahead. That's fine.
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajuman Haranabo Vedarunam Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukukan Kanja Pada Kanjarunam Shri Ram Prabhu Ram विभूषणम् आजानभुजशरणागतरसं रामचित्रकरदूषणम् श्रीराम प्रभु राम इति भजतुलसीदास शङ्कर शेषमुनिवरन्दनम् कमलनिवास गुरुकामारि कलदलसञ्जनम् श्रीराम प्रभु राम सुंदर सावरो करुणानिधान सुजान जीव कने उजान करावरो श्रीराम प्रभु राम हरि भाति गौरी असीस सुनिसिया सरिया हरि तुलसी भवानी पूरी 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 मन मन से कवि श्री राम प्रभु राम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजन भयन को भयारुणम् नवकंडलोचन कंड मुकुकर चंद्र पद कंडारुणम् नवकंडलोचन कंड मुकुकर चंद्र पद कंडारुणम् जाने गौरी नुपो यही हरसन जागे मंजुल मंगल हो वामंगे सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणं प्रभु उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणं प्रभु
प्रेम से श्री महाविष्णु भगवान की जय शरणं प्रभु। Alright, once again with flowers in hand, we meditate on Bhagavan Shiva Shambhu, Shiva symbolizing the absorbing aspect of divinity. Atman becomes merged into Paramatman. When realization is achieved, he is called Vardhata, the giver of boons, by repeating the Panchakshar mantra Om Namah Shivaya with love, with devotion. In the puja of Bhagavan Shiva, the sinful tendencies within us, Bhagamaya, anger, greed, jealousy, covetousness, hatred, pride, envy, these become burnt in the fires of our devotion. In this manner, we attain purity of thoughts, of words, of deeds, of mind, of intellect, of actions, which are prerequisites for self-realization by offering puja to Bhagavan Shiva with love and with devotion. I invite all now to sit upright, to cast away the worldly cares. We all have them. Let's put these at the back of the minds for a little while. Meditate on the most pleasing aspect of divinity. Bhagavan is beyond names, beyond forms. The names, the forms are tools that we use to help us to keep the mind from wandering. Let's use those tools. Imprint the image of Shiva within the heart. Ask him to make his home therein, to be the guide of the intellect, guiding us on the path that leads to the highest welfare. This Shiva, we join in salutations. Om Pashunam Patim Nasham Haresham Rajendrasya Pretim Vasanam Varetim Yapajutanade Surdam Varim Mahadevametam Smrami Smarim Om Aisham Suresham Sura Vibhum Vishwanatham Vibhutyangabhusham Vipakshamavartam
Sadanandani
Prabhu Panchavakram Om Girisham Ganesham Dhaneniyavarnam Rajendra Virudam Durakitharupam Bhavasvaram Bhasmana Bhushitamam Bhavani Kalatram Bhaje Panchavakram Om Shivakanta Shambho Shashankara Maheshana Shivim Jagajutadhari Omeko Jagatavyapapo Vishwarupa Prasidam Prasidam Prabhu Purnarupam Om Namaste Namaste Vibhu Vishwamurte Namaste Namaste Chidananda Murte Namaste Namaste Prabhupada Namaste Namaste Shruti-Gyanadamya Om Prabhu Shulakani Vibhu Vishwanath Mahadeva Shambho Mahesha Triyeka Shivakanta Shanti Smarane Purare Vayo Vayo Namanyo Namanyo Vayo Vayo Namanyo Namanyo Om Sri Shiv Shankar Bhagavan Abhyo Namah Om Ramyam Sishobhanam Divyam Sarva Saukhyataram Shubham Asaram Jamaya Ratnam Vihara Shiva Shankaram Om Namostu Nilabhivayam Sahasrachaya Vidushir Atvayasya Satvano Abdebhyo Param Namah Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Uvarukum Om Varanasya Utam Nandasi Varanasya Skam Sajanistom Varanasya Retsadanyasi Varanasya Retsadanyasi Varanasya Retsadanyasi Padyam Argyam Achmanyam Snanam Sri Shiv Shankara Bhagavan Pujanam Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Namo Namah Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Namo Namah Om Gokshiradhamandesham Gokshirinyaprakam Snaparam Deva Devishvara Shiva Shankaram Shri Smaram Shri Shiva Shankara Bhagavan Pujanam Om Namah Shivaya Namo Namah Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Namo Namah Om Pankajam Shivmala, Manivala Stashvina, Shakasheta Shiranasvirupa Pashupati Karmanyama, Avilipta Brahmamurupa Parajanya, Nandajosnanam, Sri Shiv Shankara Bhagavan Pujanam Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Namo Namah Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya Namo Prince Masi Shiv Shankar Bhagwan Ki Jai Sharanam Prabhu Devir Suptasmayukti Yagya Samasamante Sarvarnam Pradideva Vasisitapudeva Jnanam Brahmantvasta
प्रेम से तू गावे रसना नाम शिव जी का वो ही दाता है विदाता सारी जगती का ओ सारी जगती का प्रेम से तू गावे रसना संकट को हरने वाले शिव है सुखनाशी सारे सृष्टि कार छैया ब्रह्म अविनाशी सारे सृष्टि कार छैया ब्रह्म अविनाशी जानते उसके लड़ना नाम शिव जी का वो ही दाता है विदाता सारी जगती का ओ सारी जगती का प्रेम से तू गाले रचना चंद्र सोहे साय जिसके नाग माला शंख में पुकार फूटे बड़े मतवाला शंख में पुकार फूटे बड़े मतवाला शरण हो निश्चित मिलना नाम शिव जी का वो ही दाता है विदाता सारे जगती का सारे जगती का प्रेम से तू गाले रचना नाम शिव जी का वो ही दाता है विदाता सारे जगती का सारे जगती का प्रेम से तू गाले रचना
Alright. We join now to glorify Bhagavan Shiva through the Panchakshara Stotram. And Amar will once again lead that. Before Amar starts, singers, I gotta ask you, all you bhajan singers, when you come, if you have a preference for one of the deities song you want to sing that day, please let the Basant know before, for now, and he can fit you in that spot. Otherwise, when he asks you and you're not ready, it causes a problem. Alright? Because you might be preparing something else, but you gotta communicate your desire as to where you want to go that day, and hopefully we can accommodate everybody in that. But if all you want to sing the same deity bhajan, we're gonna have a problem. I can see that already. Now, I'm well known for putting my foot in my mouth, you see, so this might be one of the times that I have. But please, let's try to make things smooth by getting everyone involved. Alright? And where they want to be. Where they want to be involved. Okay, let's go.
Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
At this time, we will take prasadam from those who are brought. Simultaneously with that will be Shiva Abhishekam and the bhajan and kirtan singing. So please participate in one of those. I continue to ask you to keep your mask on and to maintain your distances. Even though we are in the endemic stage, we still have to maintain our sense of where we are and awareness. Hari Om Tat Sat Tat Sat Vishnu Sri Brahmano Dvitiya Mahārya Shri Sri Kalpe Vaivashmanotari Ashtavinshatit Yuge Kalige Mani Namasya Namasya Radhina
Papa Sababhaga Bhakti Javasadha Papa Sababhaga Bhakti Javasadha Sri Ram Ji Charanon mein man jabalaga Papa Sababhaga Bhakti Javasadha Sri Ram Ji Charanon mein man jabalaga आप सब भागा भक्ति जप साधा श्री राम जी चरणों में मन जप लागा आप सब भागा भक्ति जप साधा श्री राम जी चरणों में मन जप लागा श्री राम जी चरणों में मन जप लागा श्री राम जी चरणों में मन जप लागा
शिवशंकर भगवान पूजनम संकल्पम तत्सच्चिव अर्पणम मंगलम भगवान शंभु मंगलम विष्णुध्वजा मंगलम पार्वतीया मंगलम भक्तिवत्सलम
मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ तुम हो बड़े बलवान प्रभु जी मेरे राज रखो मैं एक नन्हा सा मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ तुम हो बड़े बलवान प्रभु जी मेरे राज रखो मैं एक नन्हा सा
Magadini Sugandini Malakadini Toho Mayavatari Pujatam Pushpani Pratigreta Arti Karpura Gauram Karuna Adava Santani Arvindam Bhavani Saitam Namani
जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्णा, जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्णा, सुबह शाम हो बंदे Krishna Krishna Krishna, सुबह शाम हो बंदे Krishna Krishna Krishna, जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्णा, जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्णा, सुबह शाम हो बंदे Krishna Krishna Krishna, सुबह शाम हो बंदे Krishna Krishna Krishna. Krishna नाम पावन पावन, Krishna नाम प्यारा प्यारा, Krishna बोले कृष्णा कृष्णा, जग में मोहारा हारा. Krishna नाम पावन पावन, Krishna नाम प्यारा प्यारा, Krishna बोले कृष्णा कृष्णा, जग में मोहारा हारा. मन के पीछे अंधियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा, मन का अंधियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा. शुभ शाम फूल बंदे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा, शुभ शाम फूल बंदे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा, जो तू मिटाना चाहे मिले ना तेरा तो का गम क्या जाने, ना जाने कृष्णा कृष्णा, मुझको धर्म ना जाने. जिसको मिले ना तेरा सुख का रंग ना जाने, ना भाई कृष्णा कृष्णा, मुझे सारे सारा माना. चाहे अगर उनियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा, चाहे अगर उनियारा बोले कृष्ण कृष्णा, शुभ शाम फूल बंदे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा, शुभ शाम फूल बंदे जो तू मिटाना चाहे Surdev Sakar, Surdev Sakar, Surdev Amra Tera, Unna Jagat ke Praka, Jab hai yuko na dekha. Surdev Amra Tera, Surdev Amra Tera, Unna Jagat ke Praka, Jab hai yuko na dekha. Ye Om Mara Mara. Mara Mara, Hare Krishna Krishna, Mara Mara, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna. शुभ श्याम भूल बंदे कृष्ण 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 जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्ण जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्ण शुभ श्याम भूल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण शुभ श्याम भूल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्ण जो तू मिटाना चाहे जीवन कृष्ण शुभ श्याम भूल बंदे कृष्ण कृष्ण शुभ श्याम भूल
निर्बल की प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे निर्बल की प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे हाथों के स्वर झनकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे निर्बल की प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे आकाश हिमालय सागर में पृथ्वी पाताल राज रहे आकाश हिमालय सागर में पृथ्वी पाताल राज रहे राग जुड़ बोल उदिचार रहे राग जुड़ बोल उदिचार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे निर्बल के प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे हाथों के चरण झनकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे निर्बल की प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश जब दया दृष्टियों जाती है सुखी खेती लहराती है जब दया दृष्टियों जाती है सुखी खेती लहराती है इस आग से जन उतार रही इस आग से जन उतार रही जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे निर्बल की प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे सुखों की चिंता कहीं नहीं विश्वास न जाए कहीं सुखों की चिंता कहीं नहीं विश्वास न जाए कहीं सुखी न लगा नितार रही सुखी न लगा नितार रही जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे निर्बल की प्राण पुकार रहे जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे
That's it. Did everybody get their chance?
Mahadi gone downstairs.
Oh, she's not. I asked what she said.
Oh,
All right. Once again, welcome to each of you to this our regular Sunday service. As you well know, next weekend, next Sunday will be Mother's Day, so we'll have a Mother's Day program as well. If anybody would like to come up and speak about and tell their mother directly what mother has done for them and how they feel about it, let me know in advance so I can prepare a little note of who's going to speak so that we can put everybody in. I know people show up just like that on Mother's Day just to do that, but we like some kind of semblance of order to go with it. So that's up to you, the children, but our program will still continue and we hope to have lunch there as well next Sunday. Today, no lunch, sorry. Now, for those of you who are joining us online as well, welcome to all of you, and we are about to participate in Pravachana this time. So let's join in partner first. Om Loka Viramam Ranarangadhiram Rajivanetram Raghuvanshanatham Karunyarupam Karunakaram Shri Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadhe Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Karpooranauram Karunanakaram Samsarasaram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Vilayavinde Bhavam Bhavani Saitam Namami Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Now, friends, the object of all spiritual activities and of life itself is to achieve mukti, enlightenment, happiness, you name it. There's a whole bunch of words that describe that one single word. But the idea is, unless we are enlightened, we cannot recognize our true purpose. And enlightenment is the purpose of the spiritual activities that we involve ourselves in. I know we come here, spend an hour, a couple of hours, and we feel really good when we leave, but then we get mixed up in worldly affairs again, and we're back to where we were, and then we come back next Sunday, starting from fresh again. It's a continuous thing. But we gotta take some lessons in hand and try to incorporate them. That's the main idea. So the theme, of course, that I've been working on since last week, of course, I'll be telling these 5 stories I have to tell, I think. And they finished 2 of them last time. There's 3 more to come yet. And hopefully if I keep it quick enough, short enough, they'll be finished. But last week I spoke about Shivi and the Dichi. Today we'll be looking at the Harishchandra. But before I do that, I'll read the Chaupai I read the last time. So at least we'll leave here hopefully feeling a bit uplifted. The idea takes some time. The idea of the upliftment is when we read from the text, the scripture of the Ramcharitmanas or any of the others for that matter, we're meant to think what they mean. So let's look back at this verse I read last week, Chaupai. So the saint is telling us, Shivi, the Dichi, Harishchandra endured countless afflictions for the sake of duty, for the sake of dharma. The wise kings Rantidev and Bali kept their faith through many, many trials. So let's look at the story of Harishchandra. We spoke about the Dichi and Shivi last week. Harishchandra was a king prior to the coming of Sri Ram of Ayodhya. And he, of course, was known for a person of truth, of rectitude. When that man gave his word, no matter what the cost is, and this is the Raghukul race, of course, that lived up to that, up to the time of Dashrath, we learned this. Harishchandra is Paul's Starmati, had a son by the name of Rohit. They ruled over Ayodhya that time. Kingdom was very prosperous. Everybody was able to realize their dreams. Whatever work they want, they were able to perform. And the country itself progressed well. One day the king was out hunting. And while he was hunting, he heard this noise in the background of a woman in distress. But he couldn't find where she was, but eventually ran into the sage Vishwamitra, who was at that time performing tapasya. Now the king, seeing Vishwamitra, is asking him, where is the noise coming from? But the man is in samadhi, he doesn't hear. So the king became upset and woke him up, break his samadhi. And when he woke up, he became angry. So he uttered a prediction on the king that everything you have will be lost. So the poor king, innocently trying to help someone, got into trouble. But the stories are told for a reason. They are told to bring out the human values that all of us should incorporate in our lives. Unfortunately, the authors of these stories, the stories tell the story of truth. They may not be truthful. The stories themselves may not be the truth, but they tell the story of truth. You see the difference? I hope. I hope I said it right too. So they're meant to bring out the truth of life itself. But a lot of them are parables, and over time, our saints and sages have come up with this idea because parables carries the highest spiritual truth in them. And that's why they're used so extensively in all texts, in all scripture, all traditions. Not only Hinduism, but every other one as well. They use the parables. Some of them, however, take those parables to be truth and they become history. And they say, this is the word of God, it got to be so. Hinduism doesn't say that. God has never spoken to anyone that I'm aware of. He has inspired all of us from within. And we are able to put words into what those inspirations may be. Revealing the word in that fashion is the tradition of the Hindu. We tell stories to bring out those traditions, to bring out those truths, so that they can be more palatable. It's easy to remember stories. It's hard to remember philosophy, believe me. So the stories are meant to bring out the philosophical teachings. And the king, of course, went back home. Well, he said, well, what can I do to alleviate this situation? He's asking Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra said right away, I am about to perform a Rajasuya Yajna. What I need is resources. I want you to give me everything that you own. Now the poor king has already made the offer. You can't withdraw it now. You can't make an offer and withdraw it. You know how many people have done that and then they've gone into dispute? And he says, okay, you can have what I have, nothing wrong, take it. Now Vishwamitra take over his whole kingdom and says, you know what, one thing you haven't done is give me dakshina. So the king says, look, I need a month to be able to come up with some kind of a dakshina for you. So the man traveled, he got to Varanasi. Vishwamitra is waiting for him there. Where is my dakshina? Your month has now come to an end. He says, well, look, we still got a whole day left yet. Maybe I can come up with something for you. Finally, the day is nearly coming to an end. He hasn't been able to come up with anything. So the Taramati comes up and says, look, my lord, whatever happens to you also affects me. I am making this offer to you. Sell me as a maidservant to this person here, and you can pay him. So when they negotiated the price, money was not enough. Eventually, first the king was very abhorrent about the whole idea. But she convinced him that, look, before we go into dispute, by not fulfilling our promises, let this happen. Hopefully we can work our way out of this eventually. And you know, when you think about it, no matter what difficulty we find ourselves in from time to time, eventually things work out well. Whatever happens, always happens for the best. At the time we may not see it, but it does. And here the king finally decided, okay, I'll agree with you. But the child started crying now. The child wants to go with his mom. Like this kid here, he wants to go with his mom wherever she goes. And the man who bought her over as a maidservant said, okay, I'll pay you a small amount for the child as well, so he can stay with his mom. So it was a kind man. And she sold herself into servitude. Now when he offered that to the king, the Vishwamitra said, look, this is certainly not enough. You gotta give me more. I need resources. The king says, well, I have to find a job and work and pay you some small amounts. Like all of us, when we go into loan, we gotta find a job and pay the loan out. If we don't, we go into trouble. And we get into trouble. So now there was a man there who was running the cremation ground, and he offered a job to the king. He said, "Look, I'll employ you as a person who burns the dead bodies, and I'll pay you so much. Whatever I pay you, the king has to get his taxes, I have to get my cut, and the remainder is yours." So now the poor man is in trouble. He doesn't want to do that kind of job. He's a king after all. Who wants to do a job like that? And you know, this is one lesson that we need to remember. There is dignity in labor. No matter what labor you're doing, no matter what job you're doing, put all your effort into that job. It's important. A lot of us go to work every day cursing the job that we have. That is not Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is doing everything to the best of your ability. When you go to study, you don't take half measures? Of course not. If you do half measures, what happens? You fail.
Not successful.
You can't be successful. So whatever you're doing, put your effort into that particular thing. You might fail, so what? Big deal. Failure is a stepping stone to success. Tell me who hasn't failed before in something that they undertook. Everyone has. As parents, all of us fail. I'll tell you that right away. But when our kids grow up, they always say, "Oh, my dad used to do this and that and that." But they grow up to be us. Think about it. Because the example that we set, kids growing up, they need to see parents set those examples. After all, the first hero of the child's life is you, the parents. Start acting like heroes. If you don't set an example for them, they do become wayward. So you need to set that example from early, as they're growing up. And the king, of course, what happens? After much convincing and so on, because this Vishwamitra kept insisting, "You gotta pay, you gotta pay, you gotta pay." And this thing is bothering him. When you have debts, it's not an easy thing. You can't put your head down to sleep without thinking about it. It's a very difficult thing. I don't know how many of you have debts, but when you do, it's not something that you take very lightly. Nobody wants ill reputation. This is the whole idea. Failure is not an option. You gotta be successful. And finally, the king took the job. Lo and behold, he's making some money. He's paying slowly to Vishwamitra. Then one day, things became terrible. From bad to worse. This is the worst and lowest he could be. He's doing his job there as a cremation ground keeper. And this old lady came there with a little child who had died. And the woman recognized him, "This is my husband. Rohit got bitten by a snake. Dead." The poor king, he started crying. He said, "What can I do now?" After some time, he recognized this is his wife, because she had changed too immensely. From the queen that she was, she's now a pauper. And this is something that to illustrate to us. No matter what condition in life we are, we cannot give up truth. We cannot give up our responsibilities. We have to drag those with us everywhere we go, no matter what they are. And the man and the wife, the husband and wife started crying because the child died. Now, you may say, "Well, this is the end of the story." Stories are told with this in mind, because this man lived truthfully. If you live truthfully, why would you have to suffer like this? And sure enough, lo and behold, Vishwamitra came to the rescue. He said, "Look, this was only a test for you to see how well you will conduct yourself in all situations of life. You are a king. You are a good king. You have now become a pauper. You are behaving the same way. You haven't changed your ways. Your ways are still the way of truth. Therefore, for adhering to Dharma this way, your son will come back to life, you'll get your kingdom back. And sure enough, Saramati Harishchandra and Rohit actually became king after his father. So the story didn't just end there, it ended on a positive note. Now I'm not saying that all of our lives will end positively, because believe me, from the time we're born, we're living for one day only. You understand that? Everybody has a date with destiny, which will eventually happen. Nobody knows the exact time, but it will happen. So no matter how much successes we have, eventually one failure will come our way. But we shouldn't look upon that failure as a failure, because that's just an opportunity for something better. Think about it, you grow old, you become decrepit, your body becomes weak, your knees not able to support your weight anymore. What happens? You say, okay, you still want to live, by the way, okay? Don't get me wrong. We are all willing to put up with a little bit pain. Pain is a reminder we are alive. Don't knock the pain around too much. Use your painkiller and manage it. That's the best way. But eventually the time will come when we will make our exit. But it's an opportunity to come back and to continue from where we left off. With a new body and a clean slate, and you are the one who put the writing on that slate. You decide what you're going to put there. This slate for ours is already filled up quite a bit. We're looking for a new one eventually. So this is the story of Harishchandra. Then the king Rantidev, he also, prior to Sri Ram, he lived in Treta Yuga sometime. Because Sri Ram came at the end of the Treta Yuga time. And what happens with him? He too recognized divinity in every living being. Every person has some godly qualities in them. No matter who we are, no matter how wrong things we do, we still have that divinity within us. Bhagavan, of course, is all pervasive, existing everywhere and in everything. And recognizing this, Rantidev, of course, one time his kingdom went under some kind of drought, and he was having trouble the king opened up his granary and so on, everybody was able to live, but there's a limit. If there's a drought for an extended period, people are going to start starving. And the king decided, well, look, since this is happening, I must do something. I have to make a sacrifice of some kind. Now, he opened up his granary, distributed everything that was in there, tried to get people, the citizens in a good mood. But eventually that started finishing as well. And of course he said, well, look, I gotta do something. I'll do a little fasting here, observe a sacrifice, and hopefully Bhagavan will recognize that the kingdom is a righteous place, and rain will come and we'll be able to make do. While he's doing this, 48 days of fasting, the last day now he's about to break his fast. In the meantime, the story goes, it's a story only, that in the Swarglok, the Devas are discussing with Mahavishnu, having visited, well, who is the best devotee you have at this time? And without hesitation, Bhagavan says, Rantidev. And Indra and the rest of them says that this cannot be. How is this possible? All he's doing is a 48 days fasting. What makes him so special? They said, well, let's put him to the test. So while the man was on the 48th day, he's supposed to break the fast at a certain time. And he was going to break it with water. While just as he's about to drink some water, what happens? A hunter came there with some dogs. There were a few other tests before that, but we will leave those out. The main story is the hunter came with the dogs. And he said right away, my dogs are thirsty. Can you give them some water? So the king says, no, Bhagwan is in the dogs too. If I give it to the dogs, it's just like giving my jal to the Surya Bhagwan or pouring the Abhishek on Shiva. It's the same thing. This is actually more important. This is maintain the life of the animal. And he gave his water to the dogs. Immediately he did this. Bhagwan came there and says, Rantidev, you have performed a deed here which no one else could have done. For this you have earned a place in Swargalok. And Rantidev said right away, I can't do this. I cannot attend to Swarg with you unless the citizens who have made this sacrifice with me are able to go as well. Now you think any of us will ask that? We'll be so happy we get our happiness. We don't care about anybody else. This is how human nature is. When you're up, you don't care who's down there. But like I say every time, in this world, when one human being is left behind, every human being is left behind because we're judged by the lowest of the society. If there's poverty in the society, that is what we see, poverty. No matter how good the rich might be living, it's still a poverty-driven place. We need to bring those up, and that's the karma that has been given to us. Do something to make it better. This is what our job in this world here. To make the world a better place, not only for our family and friends, but for all humans. And this is the story of Rantidev. There's some more, but I try to make it as brief as I can. The last one, of course, is Bali. Bali was the king of the Rakshas, Asuras, and he was the grandson of Prahlad. While he is doing his business, and you've heard this story before, I've told it many times, especially at Diwali time you hear it. While he's doing his business, he said, well, look, I'm going to perform my Ashwamedha Yajna and become the Indra of my time, meaning the most important person of his time. And that's how you make it, by sacrifice. We call it religious sacrifice, but unless you make those sacrifices to raise you up, you're not going to get anywhere. Everyone has to. This is what life is about. If you don't study, you don't pass your exam, you get a better job. You don't get a better job, you can't get up. That's simple. That's the sacrifice you make so you can get up. And this Bali, of course, was performing what is called Ashwamedha Yajna. Is just a symbol of the sacrifice we make to get up. And while he's doing this, the real Indra is saying, well, you know what, Bhagwan, he's talking to Vishnu, if this man finishes 100, then I will lose my spot. Bhagwan says he's not ready yet, but he will be eventually after you, but this has to wait. So what Bhagwan does, he becomes the Vaman avatar. He goes to where Bali is performing his thing. Bali sees he performs such a wonderful chanting of the Ved. Bali steps down, he says, come, young man. What is it that you need? I can give you anything you want. Really and truly. And he says, well, all I want is 3 paces of land. You know the story. All of you know it. And really and truly, how much do you need for the cremation or the burial?
2 by 6 feet.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need. It's a reminder, of course. The 3 paces of land has that special meaning. Start to measure it already, you know. So what happens is when the Vaman asks for the 3 paces of land, I want to make this brief. He asks for the 3 paces of land. Bali says, oh, is that all you want? Why don't you take a village or a kingdom? I'm willing to give you that. He says, no. You got me wrong. All I want is the 3 paces, as measured by my own feet. And sure enough, Bali says, yes, it will be so. Where do you want it? Bhagwan measured the earth is measured in the first step. The heavenly region with the second, and then third. He says, well, Bali, dear, you have nothing left. What is it now? But the story is just a story. Bali says, take my head first of all, because that's his life. He says, my life is yours. He's recognizing the divinity, of course. And Mahavishnu himself has said, Bali, you are a man of truth. You gave your promise. You never withdrew it, even though it cost you your life. The time will come when you will become the Indra. But before that happens, what can I do for you now? And what does he ask for? He doesn't ask for himself. He says, Bhagavan, on the Deepavali Amavasya day of Kartik, let Mahalakshmi come and tread upon this earth so that all devotees can receive her and receive her blessings as well, that they may become prosperous. Nothing for himself. Most of us, you give them that opportunity, what you ask for? Bhagavan, I need $5 million or 20 million. You can't live long enough to enjoy 20 million, I tell you. But everybody wants the cash. The righteousness is better than the cash, believe me, because you live at peace with yourself. You get more money, all it does is bring more gray hairs. Because you're thinking of how to make more. And more and more. You cannot rest. So those are the 5 stories I wanted to deal with over this period. But the main theme of these stories is this. When we make promises, we need to keep them. When we give a word to someone, we need to make sure that that stays where it is. Most of us are saying, oh, promises are made to be broken. No, 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 no. That is one way to lose your reputation. Your reputation is what people think of us. If you are a loose person, your reputation is not going to be good. If you're a person who has rules and regulations for yourself, you live with discipline, people will think wonderfully of you. And that is one thing nobody wants to lose, their reputation. Because once it goes down, you lose trust, it's hard to get back trust again. Nobody's going to believe you anymore. From the minute you speak, oh, he's right. And you've heard this before. There are some people who like that. No matter what they tell you, they make out every promise they can think of, they make. None they can keep. We don't want to be that way. So these are the stories that the Tulsidas, the wise king Rantideva Bali kept their faith through many trials. And then we'll continue from this next time. And hopefully we'll get this part of the thing done, and then we'll move on. All right, I don't think I have anything else. Now, Pete, to next week, I don't get you, you don't come back, you see.
Yeah, I thought too.
Eh?
This one problem.
No, I won't call you, I was there. I was wanting to find out what we're going to do. You have a plan?
It's set, but all is set, don't worry.
Huh?
Everything is set, don't worry. Carol and myself will provide it for you.
Okay. Now please submit your bills to...
Now we're gonna hear.
No.
Funny, but didn't you say something to tell you that they're tired of cook-up rice?
They're tired of
No,
cook-up
it's
rice.
not that.
Okay. No cook-up, okay. All right.
Talking about
You want some?
Having a birthday song for Peter?
Yes, we will in a minute. And of course, before I go to my closing announcements, I just want to remind or to wish Peter a happy birthday. Tomorrow is his birthday. I'm not sure what the age is, but he still looks young. So many happy returns of the day, Pete. May your life be long. May your life be healthy. May your life be filled with happiness.
that's all I meant.
And may you get everything you want and want everything you get.
Yeah.
No,
Thanks for all your hard work.
we are all thankful that people like you are in this temple, because without you, I don't know how we'd function. But you're here to make the prasadam, you're here to do a lot of stuff.
You just don't get.
People like you, Sato, and a few of the others, only when their days come, then I'll talk about them. When your day is here, I gotta talk about you. So today I gotta speak about you. When Saturday come, I gotta talk about Saturday. When Hemo Day come, I gotta talk about her. And so on and so on. And we want to welcome Hemo back from Guyana after 3 months of being away. We miss you, Hemo.
Bring back the warm.
And you remember, if you were looking at us, or you say you were, you will see I said it many times online, that we miss you. Get back here quickly. Well, I'm glad you're back. And for all of you who are here, thanks again. Don't forget, we are on the line. We are on the World Wide Web, www.voiceofdharmatemple.com, and we are on Facebook, Voice of Dharma Temple, Scarborough. So check us out there. This program actually today is online. It's going to be there for a while. It's on the Facebook page. It's live now, but it will be there until we decide to take it down. And we haven't taken down any yet as far as I'm aware. Some will be transferred to the YouTube, and that's when Robin gets around to it. He's the one doing it. So he's our IT guy, so he needs to do that. And some people don't have Facebook, so they want to see the YouTube. I get requests quite a bit actually. So whenever you can, please transfer to YouTube.
Yep.
We do have a YouTube channel, so Voice of Dharma Temple, Scarborough as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's our YouTube channel. Check it out, and hopefully you can catch us there. Now, next week is Mother's Day, like I said, so we'll be having a Mother's Day program. And if we have time, we will continue with this little episode of Ramcharit Manas here. And why I'm doing this episode of Ramcharit Manas, I keep telling you how wonderful it is to be liberated, to have moksha. But to get to moksha, we got to do certain things. And Sri Ram's life, of course, leads the way in how we can accomplish it, each one of us. And this is why we have to tell the story. Rama has to go through great trials and tribulations. None of us are willing to make those trials and tribulations. All these stories we've told here today deal with exactly that. To be able to achieve this happiness, you got to make some sacrifices to get it. You want to be an engineer, you got to go to school and study to be an engineer. You want to be an accountant, you got to go to school to be an accountant. You want to be liberated, you got to follow the same pattern. Hard work. Nothing is free. There's no free ride here. If you think life is a free ride, you have another thing coming. No free ride in life. Every part of life is a sacrifice. Everything that we do is a sacrifice. Everything that we achieve comes through that sacrifice. If we can remember that, you'll take life a little bit more seriously. We have to earn our way. It doesn't come to us freely. And we go, a lot of us say, oh, Bhagwan is going to give me this, Bhagwan. I hear it all the time. God help me, God help me. God helps those who help themselves. Just remember that. The inspiration will come to you from within. That is God's way of doing it. Someone will come and put some idea in your head. That is God's help. But eventually you have to do it yourself. God is not going to come and say, look, oh, you got this mountain in front of you here. Let me move it out for you so you can get by. That's not going to happen. Find a way to go around. That's where the inspiration comes in. And I want to thank all of you again for being here. We have one donation today, that is Sham, Shanta, Davina, and Prem. $100. Thank you. And Davina finished her exam yesterday. We wish you well with the exam. You haven't seen the result yet, I think. You have? Oh, good. Congratulations.
99.
So we know already. Great. Congratulations. So before we close off here, somebody's going to sing a few lines of the birthday song for Peter. Peter?
I'm somebody, I got in my...
Oh, you okay. Okay, Ronnie will be the somebody to sing the happy birthday song for Peter, and we'll go and stand and close up.
Aju janam dina, aju janam dina, aju janam dina, aju janam dina, aju janam dina. Aju janam dina.
Now, Peter,
Thank you, everybody.
especially you are the father of my 3 godchildren. And for that, I have respect for you a lot. But you are a very kind person in this temple and a very hard-working person in this temple. Not only in the temple, you would take anything out of your yard and give it to somebody who needed it. And we notice this about you. We admire it. And thank you very much for being who you are. And happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, let's stand for RT and closing. Shall we do the closing?
भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती कमल की मोती कंठ है पंचम वेद निराला
Thank you.
Om Shanta
विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं सुभावनं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिविद्यारम्यं वन्दे विष्णु भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव ॐ मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दन यत् पूज्यतं मया देव परिपूर्णं करस्व मे ॐ बार परमावरहो हर्षदेव क्षीरं परसरोजन पावनी भक्ति सदा सत्संगसिया भज रामचंद्र की जय शरणं प्रभु ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः ओम यौ शांति अन्तरिक्षं शांति पृथिवी शांति आपा शांति वृषदेव शांति वनस्पति शांति ईश्वरेव शांति ब्रह्मा शांति सर्वं शांति 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 हरि प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय।